subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, He said, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, kunu qawwamina bil qist, shuhada'a lillahi, walau ala anfusikum. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, oh you believers, remain steadfast for the truth. Remain steadfast for justice, even if it means that you give witness upon your own self. Look at this. Allah is saying, even if it means that you have to give witness against your own self, that you will give witness and it will have an adverse effect upon yourself, but you still stand up for the sake of the haqq, awil walidaini wal aqrabeen. Or even if you have to be shuhada lillah, shuhada, witness for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, against your own parents, against your own family, awil walidaini wal aqrabeen. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala expects from the believers, because we are meant to be people of the haqq. But the reality is that we are anything but the people of haqq. But there were a group of people who were the people of haqq, and really they revolutionized the world. If you look at the life of the Prophet ﷺ, how often he would go against his own family, how often he would go against his own people for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Look into the life of the Sahaba radiallahu anhu. Look into the life of Ali radiallahu anhu. Ali radiallahu anhu, at this time he was Amirul Mu'mineen. He was the leader of the superpower of his time, and he was traveling with a Jew. And what the Jew did is that he stole Ali radiallahu anhu's arm. And Ali radiallahu anhu went to the court. He's Amirul Mu'mineen, the Muslim court. And the Muslim judge is standing there, and in front of him Amirul Mu'mineen, the leader of the Muslims, is standing. And the judge asked him, do you have any witness that this belongs to you? He said, yes, I do. It's my son. And the judge said, your son cannot give a witness for you. He said, do you have anybody else? He said, yes, I have my slave. He said, your slave cannot give witness for you. And then he passed judgment in favor of the Jew. This was Amirul Mu'mineen. And when Amirul Mu'mineen radiallahu anhu came out of the court, the Jew is standing there. And he says, oh Amirul Mu'mineen, this arm belongs to you, and I also belong to you. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. See, these are people who revolutionized the dunya because they stood up for the truth. In India, a dispute broke out in a village called Kandala between the Muslims and the Hindus. The Hindus said a portion of land belonged to them, and the Muslims said the portion belonged to them. And the Hindus took an oath that if they got this land, they would build a temple. And the Muslims took an oath that if they got this land, they would build a mosque. And at that time, the British were ruling India. And they went to the High Court, and the Hindus suggested something. Look at the Hindus suggested. They said, in our village there is a mufti called Mufti Ilahi Bakhsh. Whatever he decides, we will accept, because he's an upright person. So they approached Mufti Sahib, but Mufti Sahib had taken an oath. He said, after I saw the atrocities of the British against our people, I took an oath that I would never look at the face of a Brit. So the judge said, fine, when Mufti Sahib entered the court, I will leave. And this is exactly what happened. He left. And then they asked Mufti Sahib, who does this land belong to? And Mufti Sahib said, I don't know who the land belongs to, but one thing I do know, it doesn't belong to the Muslims. And judgment was passed in the favor of the Hindus. And can you imagine the frantic scene when Mufti Sahib came out of the courtyard? You agent, you Hindu agent, you sellout. Somebody's pulling his beard, somebody's pulling his topi, somebody's pulling his kurta. And when Mufti Sahib managed to pass the frantic Muslim crowd, there was a group of Hindu leaders waiting for him. And they had the deeds of the property in their hand, and they said, Mufti Sahib, here's the deed of the property. And build a masjid there, and we will pray in that masjid. And every single Hindu in that village embraced Islam. Why? Because one man was ready to give testimony, وَلَوْ عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِكُمْ, even if it was against his very own people. Even if it was against his own people. And today you look, really, how often are the Muslims ready to stand up for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for the sake of the truth?